Content warning. We have fun and laugh a lot during the process of making this podcast, but some of the movies we watch have adult situations. That means we may use language that isn't suitable for children, as well as topics that could be triggering for some. We want you to enjoy our podcast, and that means taking care of yourself and feeling safe. Thanks for listening. We're doing another podcast. I realize that's probably not enjoyable for anyone, except for me while doing it, listening.
Flush with cash. Wait, no, I'm
Nope,
combining.
you're doing
We are totally lost.
with Flush with Cat. Yeah, two different shows even.
Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Are you ready? Are you all ready for this?
No one's ready. No one's ready for anything that we do
That's right.
or say. Or
This
think.
episode, we're talking about
Mr.
Mom.
But first, I'm Z.
Second, I'm Hey, we never did this. We got to shout out our friend RW.
Yeah, RW, yes.
Because he's given us a lot of gear to help us help facilitate this kind of thing.
We'll have him on at some point once we figure out how to do that.
You're right.
Or
what movie?
If he's chill with that. We haven't even asked him. We're like, we'll have him on. Don't worry. But yeah. So that's shout out to RW.
And friends of the pods, Hayla and Bunny for listening.
For listening and telling us
before these went public.
Horrible talker adders.
Oh, also I wanted to say today we're recording on the birthday of Stalker Channing. What?
I just remembered that while I was in the shower this morning, you came in and you listed.
Oh, I thought you were pooping. That's how I remember it. Were you pooping in the shower? You've shit the bath. You're in A Beautiful Mind, or whatever that is. Is that the one with Jeffrey Rush?
No.
No, that's called, what's that called? Huh?
Quills? Jeffrey Rush?
No, not the one where he plays fucking Marquis de Sade.
There's a scene where he writes all over the walls in his own shit. So that's what I thought you were referencing.
It's like...
A Beautiful Mind has Russell Crowe in it.
Oh, God, that's right. Hang on. Keep talking. Hang on. Don't talk. Keep laughing.
Dude, were you pooping in the shower? Yes, that's my favorite place. Who else's birthday is it though? You started saying it's Stalker Channing's birthday. Wait.
Yeah, Stalker Channing.
Right? Okay.
Stalker Channing.
I said her name, and then I felt like, you know how you feel like you're having a stroke a little bit, and you're like, those words aren't words. That's what it felt like. I got really nervous that I just said...
Shine is the movie I'm thinking of. He shits in the bath. Because he's autistic or something. Happy birthday. Yes.
Okay,
no, he plays a real person.
Well,
it's
yeah,
a biopic.
But I mean, like, you're like, that's not just your assessment, is what I mean. You're not just like, okay.
I mean, I could be horribly misremembering.
that's...
I mean, it may not be a developmental disability, or it may be autism, or it may be
something.
Just being English or whatever he is.
I think Jeffrey Rush is Australian.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think, or like
anyway.
Something like that. Anyway.
Don't tempt me to look that up.
Done and done.
Also Henry Rollins' birthday.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right. I was in the shower. I was in the shower.
Maybe I was pooping.
You were pooping. I was in the shower.
Somebody was pooping on Henry Rollins' birthday.
I distinctly remember you were pooping while I told you it was Stalker Tuesday's
It was somebody else. Also, I feel like it was what? No.
Yeah, this one's gonna be about Mr. Mom.
None of this.
What are you looking
None
up?
of this. Oh my god.
What are you looking up? What are you getting so frustrated about?
Birthdays. It's important. I feel like it's also Andy Buckley's birthday. Who played CFO of Dunder Mifflin, David Wallace.
Oh.
And the answer is whatever. No one cares. Mr. Mom, baby, we're keeping it real.
As previously mentioned, Mr. Michael Douglas Keaton is a wood dude.
He's a zaddy.
Yeah. No, not as I'm a zaddy. But
Himbo?
yeah, he yeah.
A real fuckboy.
Michael Keaton is a himbo, yeah. At least in this movie, he sure as hell is. He's quite the. No, I read. Teri Garr though is in this.
Terrence Garr.
I just looked it up. She's 76.
Yeah, she's fucking old.
That.
It sneaks
wild.
up on you. Yeah,
That
she's
is
way older than you
wild.
think.
Like,
remember how she's in an episode of original series Star Trek?
oh my god, I fucking forget.
Yeah.
God. Teri Garr was a whole, thing. Like, she was just so...
She's good.
Yeah, and I'm not saying, like, she was good and then something... I just mean, like, Hollywood stopped caring about her because she fucking aged or whatever, God forbid.
Well, at least she got to play Phoebe Buffay's mom.
Oh my god, I forgot. Oh my god, I forgot all this shit. Yeah.
Phoebe and, what's the twin sister's name?
Oh, I cannot remember. I don't remember. Yeah, one of my least favorite shows to ever.
That he watched all
that I've ever completely watched all the way through several times.
I have a few of those myself. I just heard today, speaking of
Yeah.
shows you hate that you've watched all of, that's metaphorical you.
Right.
One. Apparently, there's another Battlestar Galactica series in production.
What?
Yeah, I just heard that today.
God.
Why? Who needs that?
I'm like, Battlestar was fine until it just started sucking, and then the ending was just horrible. And then they did, what was it? The
Caprica?
God, no one needed that.
No.
I don't even think I got through one full season of that. I was like,
no.
this is
I don't think I got through one full episode.
I was like, what the fuck? This is so boring. It was like, it's one of those things where like, they're like, oh, people are into this show. Let's pick out the most basic and boring pieces of it. And then we're going to make a prequel only centered around the worst bits of it that everyone hated. And it's like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
But it like lasted for a couple seasons. I mean, if you loved it, then I don't understand. But that's fine, I guess.
God love you.
Or someone. I don't know. Yeah.
God love you or someone. But anyway,
this movie, Mr. Mom, I watched this movie for the first time when I was a teenager, I think, a youth. And I thought it was so fucking funny. And it's one of those where I was like, I was holding out, like, because Keith was a little nervous to watch it. Let's be honest, Keith was a little nervous to watch it. Because, it's like an early 80s movie about, like,
gender role reversal.
Yeah. So it's like, you're scared. But, I was like, I think you'll like it, but I was like so scared that I was like, oh god, what if I was just being a stupid asshole teenager?
I feel like I
And
saw it in my teens as well. I remembered nothing about it. I remember seeing trailers for it and being like, "Oh, that looks fucking hilarious."
Again, it's that thing where like Michael Keaton
It's
is
Michael
just
Keaton, yeah.
so good
His
with
comedic
like
timing and
yes, he's
delivery.
just so fucking good, and he's really good with like physical stuff, like his like reaction to stuff.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't like it's not just how he delivers lines, it's like his body language
Yeah.
while he's delivering
Yeah.
it. It's so funny, like the where he's getting like okay. So the synopsis of the movie, if you've never seen it, is basically Michael Keaton and Teri Garr are a married couple. Teri Garr is a stay-at-home mom, and Michael Keaton is an engineer at a car manufacturing company or something. Whatever. I guess Michael Keaton got pigeonholed in the 80s.
I know.
Yeah, so he gets fired, and then he makes a bet with Teri Garr. And she's like, what, because he's like, oh, I got to find another job. And she's like, well, what if I tried to find a job too? It's been a few years, but I have experience with all this stuff. She was like in advertising or something. She's like, have a degree and a couple years experience. So what if I tried? And he was like, let's make a bet and see who gets a job first. And she's like, I hate this idea. I don't want to do this. And he's like, no, it'll be fun. And then like cut to the next scene. She's getting ready for work. And he's like, just take the money. You won the bet. She's like, I didn't want to play in the first place. Anyway.
I thought that was a good edit.
Yeah. But
directorial choice or editing choice.
Because basically the whole plot of the movie is that he's, Mr. Mom, obviously, he's taken over being the stay-at-home parent. And she's the career person who's like hardly ever home and kind of being a little bit absent, not helping out much. And, it's kind of, like just the synopsis of it. You're like, okay, that's not really anything. But I think they do actually a pretty good job of making it so that it's like, not like, oh, the real hard job is being a stay-at-home mom. They're basically like, it's rough to work it's rough to stay home, like there's not an easy answer to any of it because which I appreciate. Like they're not saying like, they're like showing that like staying at home with kids and taking care of them all day is not
full-time job.
Yeah. Is not just an easy whatever, and I think there's like a scene that I appreciate. Anyway, whatever. I'm getting ahead of myself. The beginning when the scene where Michael Keaton gets fired. I fucking love that scene.
Oh, it was really good.
Because Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah, we've also got
Jeffrey Tambor.
Chris Lloyd. Jeffrey Tambourine. And another guy.
Yeah, I didn't recognize
and they all get laid off.
Yeah.
Basically
well,
at the
Jeffrey
same
Tambor
moment.
fires them. He doesn't get laid off.
That's right. Tambor's the...
But
his character's name is Jinx, by the way.
But he's firing this other guy and Christopher Lloyd, and they call Michael Keaton up to the office, and he's like, oh my God, I can't believe you're firing them. And they're like, you're fired too. And he's like, and now you're firing me too. And it's just this whole, and it's just this whole thing.
It's very physical comedy.
So
they keep jumping on.
Yeah, they keep like trying to choke out Jeffrey Tambor. Like every time he says something, it's like, I hope this will make you feel better. Here's what we're doing. Also, they're like, you fucking asshole. Like, and it's so great. And then I loved the part where he says, is there anything like Jeffrey Tambor's like, is there anything else I can do? Or like, is there anything else like we can provide? And Christopher Lloyd says, yeah, disability. And then he tries to jump out the window. Or whatever. Oh my God. And good I love how they just keep having to like drag each other off of someone or something.
They all like take turns.
Yeah, like, someone, it's so fucking funny.
Why don't you give me a break? I'm telling you, there's blood all over my slide rule.
But yeah, Martin Mull is also in this.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Martin Mull,
Duh.
who is I really enjoy Martin Mull's paintings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot he does that.
He did like some like he had like a gallery showing in Vegas. I mean, I've never met him or anything like that, but he did when I lived in Vegas. He did like a gallery showing, and like so much of his work was on just like a ton of it was just on display, and I was like, this is really interesting. Like I think it's really.
He went to RISD, if I remember right.
I just thought it was really cool because like this dude was like from Mr. Mom and Sabrina the Teenage Witch and like
And
all
Roseanne.
this stuff. Yeah, all this stuff like growing up, you know, he was just
Yeah.
like the doofy guy, you
Yeah.
know, and then you see his paintings and I'm like, wow, there's so much like feeling and like it's just a lot of I'm really interested. I was really interested in his work. It really struck me. So that's something. I was like, you know, like the guy from Mr. Mom does paintings.
He also started as a comedian,
yeah.
musical comedian. He would write
Oh god.
songs.
That's hard for me. Musical comedy is
Yep.
whew, that one's ooh. Oh my god.
Yeah, so he plays Teri Garr's boss, who's clearly interested in her. And
Yeah, I'm trying to get in her pants. There's a scene at the beginning right before Michael Keaton gets fired where like all the guys on the assembly line are like talking about how worried they are about their jobs or whatever. And he's trying to give them a pep talk by describing the movie Rocky and they keep like asking him specific questions about it.
Which one?
Yeah, they're like, which
Who'd he
Rocky?
fight?
And he's like, I don't know. And they're like, who was he fighting? Like what was going
Did he
on?
have a mohawk?
Yeah.
Like,
And he's just like, I don't know. Anyway, and he just keeps trying to do it. And like, they keep interrupting him to ask him specifics about the movie. Cause he's like, I was at the movies the other night watching Rocky. And they were like, which one? And they want to know very specific things about it that he cannot tell them. And he's just like, anyway. The point is, you know, we're going to be like Rocky and we're going to win this or something like that. And then he walks away and they're like, he didn't see Rocky.
yeah, it was really good.
But when I wrote this is a quote from you.
Uh-oh.
When Teri Garr gets a job, you said, like, you said, don't worry, she's making 6 cents on the dollar. Which obviously you're like, I mean 60 cents. But like, oh my God, just that fucking, oh God, just thinking about, it's so funny because it's true.
Right.
But oh God, that killed me. I laughed so hard.
$1983.
Making 6 cents on the dollar. Oh God. Oh.
So, directed by Stan Dragotti. Stan Dragotti.
What else has he done?
We've got the only thing that I've maybe seen was The Man with One Red Shoe, which is an early Tom Hanks movie. Early movie with Tom Hanks.
Unfamiliar.
She's Out of Control. Late 80s.
I don't know.
I don't really. And Necessary Roughness
was
his last movie.
What's that one? Is that one about hockey?
It's a football
okay.
thing. I don't know.
It's not about hockey.
But written by our old friend John Hughes.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. We both were like, I mean,
oh, shit.
yeah. As soon as we saw it, we were like, what the fuck? Clearly.
Oh,
we
and Ann
didn't know.
Jillian is in this too, which
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I had a huge crush on as a kid.
Weird.
She was on from watching It's a Living, which is a show about waitresses.
Oh, that's right.
So lots of.
I've never seen it, but you've talked about it. You've discussed that.
And then over the summer when I was catching up with my old friend Ruth, we both had, I don't know why Ann Jillian came up. We were talking about some movie. We had both convinced ourselves that Ann Jillian had died.
Isn't
But
that
no,
wild?
she's alive and
yeah,
well, apparently.
Isn't that wild when you're like, oh man, you know, I really wish this person was still around, and they are, and then you're like, who the fuck was I thinking?
Yeah.
And then you just feel like a doofus. I don't know, maybe that's just me. The kids are great. Like the kids do
They
so
are.
great. They're
They are.
so oh my God. Just ridiculously like they're like very like they're so tiny, and I'm like, how do you get such talent out of such tiny?
Especially the youngest boy is, I think he has fewer lines than the older one,
God,
but
he
he
just-
does the best
Oh God.
looks and shit. Which I didn't write
Let
their
me
names
let me
down,
have
but they're
let me
like,
have let me have the whoopee. No.
No. Can I have a moment to myself?
So good. So good.
I think they're still acting, right? Both of those kids.
Oh, I don't know about. I know one of them is. One of them
One
is
of
like in everything, but I don't know about the other one.
Yeah.
I recognized one of them, is what I mean. who was also played a kid in another film that we'd recently seen, but I don't remember what film that is. Because we see so many movies from the late 80s or from the 80s and 90s these days. This is all we see, basically. You're never going to get us reviewing something that came out, like, recently.
Well, first of all, nothing's coming out.
I said
into
recently.
Theaters.
I said recently. I didn't say now.
That's true. And never say never. Never.
No, I don't know. I feel like the movie's really funny because... go ahead.
I want to say that my fear was that there was going to be a lot of the gender role stuff was going to be played up really and gross. Yeah. And it actually wasn't.
Yeah. I feel like
I thought there was going to be a lot of like, oh, he's emasculated because he's having to stay home and take care of the kids. They show him, like, there's lots of movies have done this since, probably before, but, there's always some super, like, it's either like Vin Diesel or The Rock or somebody is like suddenly having to, or like Kindergarten Cop, that kind of shit where some big macho dude has to interact with kids and is just clearly doesn't know what he's doing. And it's hilarious.
You need to exercise. You kids are lazy.
Yeah. And you usually get some scene where a dude's wearing a pink frilly apron for some reason and like, and this definitely has moments where Keaton's character is like, doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah.
And it's...
But I think it goes to show, like, the way that it's presented in this, I'm not saying that they even intended to do it this way, but just, like, the way it plays out feels more like it's showing how little he was around, like, how little he was paying attention before, as opposed to him being like, oh, I'm a bumbling idiot. It's like, you're not, like, there's this...
No, it's really just like, you're out of your league, bub.
Yeah. You're just, you think this is like,
Like there's a scene where he's dropping off the kids and everybody's honking at him and they're like, you're doing it wrong. And then he goes shopping and all the...
Yeah. Oh, God.
The store is just filled to the brim with housewives, presumably. Who are like...
Just
running into him and like he's trying to order meat from the deli and he's surrounded by a crowd of women who are like, hurry the fuck up.
Yeah.
And it's done pretty funny.
Yeah,
I mean, like, it's not like, again, it's just, it's not.
It's showing that he
the jokes aren't about gender roles exactly.
Right.
It's just about.
It's about him not understanding what he was doing, like him having low
no
expectations.
Clue. Yeah, exactly.
You know,
he's like, I got this.
Yeah, like, oh, I can just go to the deli and order. I can just say meat, and they'll know what I mean. And they're like asking him, like, okay, what kind, what cut, like, and he's like, I don't know. And he's like, just cheese, and they're like, okay, there's a lot of different types of cheese. What kind do you want? And he's just like, never mind.
Yeah. But and the only stuff where it's like. Seems like it's about him feeling insecure in his gender, in his masculinity or what have you, is when the wife's boss shows up, Martin Mull.
Yeah.
He's like, oh shit. He's like in his robe.
Yeah.
And the boss comes to pick her up.
And he's like knocking on the door. And Keaton like runs out.
He runs out. And then he comes in wearing fucking overalls.
That are like very poorly like hooked together.
And he's got a chainsaw that's running for no reason.
Yeah, that's clearly not actually running. Like it's very clearly like the chain is not moving at all. It's just like the sound of a motor happening.
But the point is that I wanted to make is that it's clearly all his shit.
Yeah.
Nobody else is putting that on him exactly.
Right.
I mean there's some like they do some like competitiveness between him and Martin Mull because Martin Mull is
the boss
trying to
hit on hook up with his wife. Well, I also like where he's like trying to like show how much he knows about things, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna knock out this wall, and he's like, oh, what are you gonna, are you gonna do this or that? And he, like Martin Mull starts asking questions because he actually knows
like
what he's doing.
Details.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, sure. Like, yeah, whatever.
Come on over here, Ron. Let me show you what I'm doing. Taking advantage of some of the time off to add a whole new wing on here. I'm going to rip these walls out and, of course, rewire it.
Yeah, you're going to make it all 220?
Yeah, 220, 221, whatever it takes.
Well, you sound like a pretty handy guy.
Yeah, well, I like to do a little bit of everything, Ron. I write poetry, I paint, sculpt. Oh.
Like I think the only time I'm like, okay, whatever, is when he's like buying pads. for his wife. And he's just like so nervous about it, and he doesn't want anyone to see him. And I'm like, first of all, the only other people in the store are women.
Right.
So no one is going to give a shit. They all know
and
you're
no one
married.
Does.
Right. They all know you're married, and like no one cares. But I do like how she's like, oh, like I think these are on sale, and he's like, don't worry about it. And she's like the cashier is like does the announcement. She's like, do we have a sale on these maxi pads or whatever? And he's like, don't. And he like takes the mic. He's like, don't worry about it. It's fine. I don't need it.
He takes the mic and the cashier is played by Edie McClurg.
Oh yeah,
one of my favorites.
Yeah, but like he's trying to act like the scene with Martin Mull is great because he's like trying to act like really butchy.
Yeah.
And like not succeeding. Like it's very clear that he does not know what he's doing. Right. But he's just trying to assert like some kind of weird masculinity and absolutely failing at it, which is kind of nice because it's like he's just like, this is, I think I'm supposed to do this.
Exactly.
And like clearly like no one cares, and like Teri Garr is just like rolling her eyes like, okay.
Right.
And then he's like, if you need me, like what does he say? He's like, I'll be like I don't know. He says something like, I'll be in the shed or just drinking beer. So I don't know. He says something and she's just like like Martin Mull.
Yeah, that's right.
Just like
Martin
walking
Mull,
to the car, not listening at all. Like he does not give a shit.
after they introduce each other, themselves, Michael Keaton's like, "You want a beer?" Martin Mull's like, "It's 7 a.m. Okay, scotch."
Stupid.
Yeah. The
weird ADR that happens when
there's some ADR.
Like throughout the entire film, it's like they recorded ADR in like an echo chamber. Like it's just like there's just like it literally sounds like someone's hollering in a warehouse.
Suddenly they're in an empty oil drum or something.
And it's just like it's not like throughout a whole scene. It'll be like one small snippet in a scene like that clearly, they had to do ADR for, and it's just like suddenly it's like sounds like this like for no reason, and it's just like, what the fuck?
Well, frankly, none of this stuff would influence me, all right?
Come on, Ron. She doesn't know her tuna fish from a Cheerio.
Damn good thing we don't have the Cheerio account.
That shit's always really fascinating to me because I'm like, okay, clearly they recorded this after the fact, and I'm like, how bad was the audio to begin with that they had to use this instead?
Yeah,
it's wild.
I just watched a thing earlier on the Highlander. Video by one of my favorites, Minty. Shout out to Minty again. But there's the voiceover at the beginning, but done by Sean Connery, where he's just reading the text, or the text is on the screen, and he's reading it, and it's got a nice little echo to it.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's because he recorded it in a bathroom.
Oh wow, that's
it was
awesome.
not an effect.
That's amazing.
They asked him to record it, and then he sent it in, and that's.
I kind of love hearing about where people record stuff. Like a lot of times people will record in their closet or whatever to get minimal sound. It's absolutely fascinating to me. I mean, I can't imagine fitting in one of our closets because there's so little.
You have.
I mean, I have done. I have, but. But yeah, I can't imagine fitting in there for something other than to have a panic attack. Is what I mean.
Yeah.
To record.
It's a perfect size for that.
it's
not
a great
much else.
size. It's a great size for a panic attack. But yeah. Anyway, I am trying to think of. There's
so Michael Keaton, there's a lot.
There's so much.
One of the nice things is, one of the fun things is, he starts hanging out with the other stay-at-home moms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it.
And he meets Aunt Jillian at the grocery store.
Right.
She doesn't have any kids. Apparently, she's just a single lady.
Right.
Who has no job. I don't know. It's
I know.
Unclear.
It's very confusing. But I like that, she's helping him out because he's overwhelmed in the grocery store, which is relatable, honestly. But she's helping him out,
Sort of.
and she's waving as he leaves, and one of the other housewives is like, he's married, and she's like, so were we. And I'm like, oh no, but that's true. Divorce happens.
It's sad.
Oh my God, I forgot this. I was gonna say this to you last night, but I thought I'd save it for the pod. It like on the suggested age viewing or whatever. It's for ages 11 and up.
Yeah, I think I saw that too.
I'm like 11.
I know it's an odd time.
Ages are so like.
I mean, this was pre PG-13, so
no, I get right, but it's so confusing.
I know.
I don't understand.
How do you decide?
Yeah, I'm
It's
like,
very
why
arbitrary.
is it? Could like a 10-year-old not handle it?
A mature 10-year-old could probably be all right.
Oh God, I think what I like about this movie is that it's really really funny without being like at the expense of anyone.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's making a mockery of women. It doesn't feel like it's making a mockery of men even. It doesn't feel like it's making a mockery of people who work or stay at home or anything like that. It literally just feels like it's like, look at how much work it is to stay at home with your kids.
Look at what American families are having to struggle with right now.
But also I like
collapsing economy.
I know it's stupid.
Gender norms are shifting.
I like how
kids are stupid and you shouldn't have 3 of them for any reason.
Oh God, but honestly, like so many I mean whatever, like, but how it seems like they have like a lot of kids close together, and that seems like a lot of work. I don't know how I don't know how anybody has one kid. And I don't mean that like in a shitty way. I literally mean like emotionally. I don't know how you handle that.
Yeah.
But
Kudos,
like to
I
have
guess.
like 3 kids and to be as chill as she was, I'm like, what the fuck? Anyway.
Yeah, because after a couple months, he's like, my brain is oatmeal.
Yeah. I know it's kind of cheesy, but like I like how she gets a job in advertising, and it's like her first day, she's not, like she's kind of unsure of herself. She keeps doing this thing. And like, I know, like I felt bad because like a lot of the ways, like she keeps like cleaning up and stuff like that and like doing, and I'm like, God, that makes me think of myself though. Like it really does. Like when you're used to doing something and you're like, I can't.
It seems
like she walks
in the
into
movie,
a
it's
meeting,
kind of awkward and out of place.
Right. Well, sort of. I mean, but I think that
not out of place.
I think it's supposed to. I think it's supposed to feel awkward. Like she walks into a meeting and it's just like a bunch of dudes and a couple women smoking cigarettes in like
all these fast food containers
and
on
like
the table.
all this shit just all over the table. And she starts like trying to clean it up. And Martin Mull's like, we have people to do that. And she's like, okay, I'm just not used to that.
My favorite is when they're on his private jet and she starts cutting his steak for him.
And he's like, you don't need to do that. But yeah, like, I mean, it really feels like I know, like, doing like stuff where I'm like working food service, and then like if I go out to eat, I mean, obviously I've not gone out to eat in at least a year because I'm responsible. I like anytime I would go out to eat before there was a giant pandemic all over the world, I'm like, I have to make the table super neat and like as easy to clean up as possible. Like like everything. Like I'm like, I know like the procedure. Like it doesn't matter how clean the table looks. You still have to wipe it off. You still have to disinfect it and all that stuff. But I'm like, I'm still like wiping up messes. And if I spilled something, I'm cleaning it up because I'm like, I know what you don't need to have to deal with, someone coming in and just like having to clean up all their shit.
Barfing all over.
Yeah, like just like ripping shit and throwing it and sweeping, like I mean, I'm a like I'm sure I'm a messy person, but like, it doesn't need to
only emotionally. Ayo.
That hurt my feelings. But yeah, I don't know. I related a lot to that whole thing of like when you're, especially when you go into a new environment, just like you're like not sure.
I don't know what my role is yet, so I default to
But also I liked how like she's like, okay, I don't like any of the things that you guys are doing, and like her ideas were good and fresh. But I'm like, that's true. Like a lot of times, like and it tracks with like, especially like
also. I'm sorry.
It tracks when you like get a job somewhere and they're like, we hired you because you're different.
I
because you-
wouldn't know about that.
I mean, like,
I get jobs because I'm a white man, and then people find out. Oops.
but yeah, like, just coming
kidding.
in-
I don't get jobs.
It's true. Anyway, whatever. Just
Sorry.
saying, it's fine.
And it seems to be implied that Teri Garr and Martin Mull's characters knew each other from before.
Is that? I thought she said.
That seems to be why she got the job,
I thought she
or why
said,
she got an interview anyway.
Oh, well, she said he told me to call him Ron at lunch today.
Yeah.
So I assumed she just got hired.
Yeah.
I assumed like a friend, recommend. Anyway, whatever. Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
There's one scene where like at first, Michael Keaton is doing a terrible job. Like basically being a stay-at-home mom or parent, sorry.
Here we go again.
He's not doing a good job, but it's
Correct.
mostly like emotional. Like he's just like not taking care of himself. He's feeling overwhelmed with everything that he has to do. He's like not changing his clothes. He's like just absolutely like not grooming.
They show him getting depressed. They don't call it that, but he sinks into a depression.
He's very,
like,
very, and I was like, no, that and like they have this argument, but I felt like I appreciated the argument because she's like, I did this
right
for 8 years, and he's like, why didn't you tell me you were miserable? And she's like, I wasn't.
Right.
It's just a lot of work that I was okay with doing, and they just had this like whole argument, but the argument didn't. What I liked about it is the argument did not feel like it was. It didn't feel like it was like I'm a woman, so it's easier for me, and it was like I'm a man, so
right.
I'm not. I don't know how to do this stuff. It didn't feel like that at all. It felt like she was saying like you don't seem to give a shit about any of this stuff. And that's hard for me because I did this for a long time and I did it well. And your lack of trying makes it feel like you think it's not worth your time.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah. Like the whole thing where she's like, I don't want, like I did all of this and I did it really well. And now you're coming in and you're saying it's too hard.
Excuse me.
Someone disagrees. Yeah, I don't know.
Wrong way. Southbound, enter, northbound, leaving.
So.
But then they have the argument, and then he falls asleep watching soap operas, and then has this dream that Angelian is coming on to him.
Yeah, trying to seduce him.
And then he wakes up, and she actually shows up in real life, and it seems like she's down to clown, and
he's like, "Get out of here!"
He gives himself a pep talk. He's going through the whole.
No, that's later on in the movie.
Oh.
No, she comes over and she's like, "It's the poker night," and he's like,
"Oh, it's canceled. You gotta go. You gotta go."
He's like, "You gotta go," and she's like, "But we always do this," and he's like, "No, no, bye. I'll explain later. Bye," and he just like shuts the door in her face, which I thought was really funny because it like is
she doesn't move. Yeah,
she doesn't.
She almost gets head in the face with the knocker.
It's so
I noticed
like,
that
oh
too.
God.
I noticed that too.
Shit. And she still doesn't move. I was like, wow.
Deal.
Yeah. But yeah.
But then his depression is cured.
No, I don't feel like it was cured. I feel like
he snaps out of it.
No, not like snaps out of it. I feel like it goes into that talk that she was having with him. Like you're treating this like it's beneath you. And you're not depressed because you're sad. You're depressed because you think that like all this is beneath you. And like he starts taking care of the house. He starts doing things. He starts cleaning. And I feel like it's showing. I related to it because I'm like, this is how I can like, like you kind of, I mean, and I'm not trying to say like, this is how depression works. Like I've had depression like my entire life, like since I was a small child. Like I've dealt with depression.
Join the club.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not like saying like, oh, I've seen depression on TV, so I know how it works. I'm speaking like personally from like when you get in those ruts where you just are letting yourself go.
No, I related to how it looked. I just didn't understand why the change was seemingly precipitated by the sex dream.
Oh, because like the wife caught him, and I think it was like so in the dream, like she's coming on to him, and then his wife comes in, and she's like she like shoots him, but like only hits him in the shirt, which is hilarious. Because she's saying, I hate the shirt that you're wearing. And then she ends up shooting him. And it's just like ruins his shirt. And he's like, no, my shirt. But she's basically saying like, yeah, it's not worth it, like to be with him anymore. And she's like, I'm happy to, she like, Martin Mull comes in and, it's this whole fantasy dream that he's having where he's like panicking about this. But I think it's like, it's meant to imply that she's like given up on him because he's not doing he's given up on all of these things that she's worked really hard on.
Okay.
And he's just like, this isn't good enough for me. And
I'm just like, you had a cheating dream, bro.
You had a what?
You had a cheating dream. Okay, I have one of those every week, so it did not solve my depression. So I'm pissed off.
But you don't usually have dreams where I catch you and then threaten to leave
No, I don't have dreams where you catch me, but when I was younger, most of my cheating dreams involved getting caught. And getting shot in the flannel.
But yeah, I think what it is like he realizes that like he's taking his wife for granted. Like he's taking like what she's done for granted kind of thing. That's how I took it at least.
Sustained. Right.
And so I appreciated that whole scene where he's like, okay, this isn't beneath me and I can do this stuff. And I think like what I was saying about depression though, like some of it is like if you, I mean, and I'm not saying this is a cure for your depression. That's not what I mean. But what I'm saying is like if you get into that rut of like not wanting to move, not wanting to get, and you just stay there and you cycle through that.
It's a feedback loop.
Yeah. But like once you start doing just like the tiniest little things like washing your clothes or you just get into a routine like okay, I'm going to shower every day.
Redesigning your entire house.
That comes later. But like like you just start.
You might just be bipolar.
No. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is that I appreciated how they showed like. And also,
no, yeah, it's
I gotta say,
it's sympathetic.
I saw that I felt like his let go look was great. I didn't think he looked bad.
Oh no, by like, today's standard,
his grandma glasses and flannel.
Oh yeah, his glasses were great.
Yeah,
he grows a beard.
Yeah, and it's so good.
Now it would be his put together look.
Exactly. Now he'd just be a hipster, but yeah, they were like, oh my god, what's this facial hair on you? I mean, I can deal without facial hair honestly, but yeah, his grandma glasses and flannel. I'm like, no, you can keep that.
The frames were pretty good.
They were. They were so big and chunky.
But were they like clear?
Yeah, they were like clear or like very like light,
transparent.
Yeah, white,
translucent.
Yeah.
The ending, ridiculous.
I kind of like the ending because it was like chaotic. It was just
it's chaotic as fuck, but it ends up with them getting everything they want and need.
Yeah, basically.
Tambor comes back to beg Michael Keaton to come back and
yeah. Well, first of all, let's just say like Teri Garr in her advertising job, she comes up with like a winning pitch.
That's right. She gets promoted and
she comes up with a winning pitch. She
pitches a campaign that
and she has to fly to California suddenly on Halloween night. And on Halloween night when like they're having an argument, he's like, "You're never around. You never see the kids and me. Like I don't think that this is what you want. I kind of felt like I was like ugh about it just because I'm like I get it, but she didn't have this talk with him.
Yeah, it also feels a little. It felt a little late for him. I mean, it felt shoehorned in a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, like, why are you bringing this up now? The car is here to pick her up.
Well, I think it's because, like,
and why are you getting on your high horse now?
Well, I think it's because, like, it was a last minute. Like, they were like, okay, we need you on a plane in 2 hours. And so she just got ready and went. He's like, hey, this is the kids' Halloween, and this kind of sucks that you're just leaving. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, okay, well, who's gonna fucking pay the bills if
Right.
one of us doesn't work? Anyway,
Yeah.
it's always like my issue with shit like that where they're like, your job, it's taking you away from your family, and I'm like, so you just quit and then your family's homeless?
Right.
Like, it's clearly like people write these things that don't like worry about money.
Or as we've discussed, our favorite trope of like the wife of a cop who's like, I can't do this anymore.
Right? Yeah. Right. So like
I can't. Every night, I don't know if you're going to come home or not.
I knew this going in, but somehow suddenly I'm not okay with it anymore.
Exactly.
But yeah, like, so he has that conversation. But while they're having that conversation, there's just like a giant fucking ET peeking out from a tree, spying on them, which is amazing. I was like, what the fuck? And it's so big, like it's because it's obviously like one of the moms, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's just
It's a full head ET mask. But then what I liked is that the rest of the costume
it's
was
just
just like
a blanket,
looked
or
like a
something.
Muppet. It's like a fuzzy. And then Anne Jillian is a cute
Little kitty cat.
little kid ahead of her time.
Yeah,
She
true.
looked like she could be a
In an episode of The Office, Halloween episode of The Office.
yeah, or a cam worker. Selling Higao
But-
videos.
Oh God. So while Teri Garr is in California for this, this work thing that she's doing, Martin Mull decides to put the moves on her. And it's
pretty great.
Kind of a
It's-
great scene. It's
it
a
is.
great scene because he just like comes into her hotel room with like champagne, and she's like, "What?"
She's
where
in
are
the
you?"
shower.
Yeah,
And he comes in with
he
room
comes-
service.
Yeah, and he's like, they like let him in, which is so sketch, but like
Yeah.
also it's the 80s.
And he's super rich. So
Right? Yeah. Mhm.
he probably gave the guy like $100.
10. Oh yeah.
$1,000. Sorry.
So, so she like comes out and she's like,
I like that he's like, I really appreciate you doing this, and he's like, I'm sure you do.
Yeah. But she comes out of the shower and Martin Mull's just like, hey there, and she's just like,
Oh, she gets out of the shower because the phone rings. Michael Keaton calls.
Oh yeah, he calls and Martin Mull's like, who the hell's this or whatever, and he's like, this is her husband, who's this, and then he just hangs up. But like Teri Garr comes out and she's like, okay, cool, you're celebrating in my room. Why are you in here?
Yeah.
And he's just like, ooh, la la, let's get together. And she says, you've been drinking a lot, haven't you? And he goes, yes, I have. He's like, a lot. Which I just like, he's just like, that's right, I have. You know it. But then he like, I don't know, I can't remember. He like tries to kiss her or something, and she just like full on just like
Decks him.
knocks him out. She just like
So good.
punches him in the face, which I also like because I feel like usually when that trope is done, it's always like the girl's always like, oh, my hand hurts so bad.
Right.
And like she says like when she comes back home, like Martin Mull's face is all bashed up.
Yeah.
And he's like, does your hand hurt? And she's like, no, it's fine. So I feel like they address that, but like she just like decks him and then she's like, oh,
Ron, get out.
We could make a great team, Carolyn.
Really? What the hell's that supposed to mean?
Well, basically, you dump Jack, you marry me, and it's Richardson, Frankel, and Richardson.
Come on. What are you trying to tell me? Is you in love with me?
Oh, hell no. But the client is.
All right, Ron. This is my official warning to you. Get out!
You are so adorable when you're angry.
Ron, get out.
No, I'm not kidding.
Ron.
Oh, don't be coy. Oh, trying to play hard to get, huh?
I like
Which
too
I
that she
appreciate,
sets a
yeah.
clear. She's like, you've officially been warned.
Yeah.
She sets a clear boundary
Yeah.
that he pushes,
Yeah.
and then she fucking
It's
decks
so
him.
good, yeah. Which is again, it's like it's 1983, and this is like really
Yeah.
good for 1983.
Yeah.
Like it's not something.
It's good for now.
And it's not anything. And like Michael Keaton gets so upset, though. It's kind of sweet. Like he kicks that's the only thing. He
Oh, that's
kicks
right.
the fucking TV because he thinks his wife's having an affair. So he bashes apart his TV, and then it's like the next day the repair person is there and she's like, oh, I think I figured out what's wrong with your TV. Mind you, it's literally the screen is completely shattered. She's like, I figured out what was wrong with your TV. And he's like, what's that? And she just holds up a shoe. She's like, this was in it. I'm like, oh my God. It's like literally, like, the TV's just like, there's no way.
There's no saving it.
Oh my God. But yeah, like.
But this is kind of a great, like, all these, like, there's this cast of service people.
Yeah, that just
There's like the TV repair person.
Yeah.
There's the exterminator, and there's the
the
guy
guy that's adjusting the furnace.
Yeah, that's right.
The water heater.
The pilot on the water heater.
Which
right?
I'm like, what?
That's a knob. We could do that.
He's adjusting the heat.
Right.
On the water, or like adjusting the setting on the water heater. I'm
Correct.
like, I've never in my life heard of someone calling someone in to do
Yeah.
that. It's literally, there's a knob where you can just very easily turn it hotter or cold.
Maybe water heaters in the 80s were not so.
I doubt it, but also, okay.
But they become almost regulars. Like, you see them around the house more than once. And they're all there for the climactic.
How many bugs do they have for that exterminator to show up as many times as he does?
Probably not as much as we do. And we haven't seen anybody since November.
That's when, is it Angelian? That's when she comes in and
what?
And like, he's given himself the pep talk of why he's not going to hook up with her. He thinks that Teri Garr is having an affair with Martin Mull.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And so she comes over, Angelian comes over, and she's like, like, how are you doing? And he's like, because, she's come over to his house. Like, they hung out together a ton. And he's like, fix yourself a drink. He's like, I got to take a shower because he has paint all over himself. And he's using paint thinner to get paint off of himself.
Oh, that's what it was.
And then she's coming in, and she just like fixes them a drink and just like comes into their bedroom.
Into the bedroom.
And she's like, ooh la la, I'm waiting out here for you, which is just weird because she's just like sitting on their bed fully dressed, and there's nothing weird is happening except for she has like whiskey or something. I don't know, whatever. And so he's just giving himself. He's like, why? Like, this is why you can't do it. Or he's like, she wants you. She's, and then, but he's like, this kid won't say anything. That kid will.
Yeah, right.
That kid's gonna spill everything.
Andy will definitely talk.
And then finally, he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna do anything. But by then, like, Teri Garr's come home and kicked Angelian out. And that's pretty much the end of the movie. It's just like them. Everyone busting in and being like, hey.
Please have a job.
Yeah.
Please have everything you want.
But here's what I liked about that. I liked how they're both like, I don't know about this. And like all the like the exterminator and everything.
Yes.
They're like, here's what you need to ask for. And he's like, okay,
Yeah,
and
what's great
like,
is that I wrote it down because somewhere I thought. Oh yeah, the TV repair person goes off with Ron Richardson, Martin Mull's character, to negotiate.
Yeah. How
on Teri Garr's behalf, and the exterminator guy goes with Jeffrey Tambor.
And then they're just like hanging out and just like
freeze frame.
Yeah.
And then John Candy waves to the camera because it's John Hughes.
But yeah, I appreciated that aspect of it where they were like, oh, we want you back. And they're both like, I don't know. And everyone's like, this is where you negotiate.
Right,
like,
right.
You're being like, you don't have to just accept it how it was. Like, you can ask for stuff, which I also think is a good, that's also a good message. Like, you can negotiate. Like, you can ask for things when you're being offered a job, believe it or not. Like, which is something people kind of forget, I feel like. We're conditioned to forget that.
Right.
We're conditioned to think that's not something. But yeah, I don't know. I just felt like it was, especially, I mean, it was like almost 40 years old.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, how is that like if they basically pulled that shit. Someone's just running up the stairs, I think. Or banging on someone's door.
It's not our door.
No, I don't believe so. I think, especially like what we were saying with like the gender shit, like at the beginning where he's like got the chainsaw and shit and like overalls and a chainsaw, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna knock out the wall and shit. Like, and just very clearly seeming like he doesn't know what he's doing, and that being more of a, like, you could have been fine answering the door in your pajamas.
Right.
That probably would have been
better, even
more of a blow to Martin Mull's, ego than you coming in trying to assert your dominance, but that being very like things like that where it's like, I think that was
Well,
John.
then they have the whole sequence where it's Martin Mull's birthday, and
Oh,
he does like
yeah.
a track and field tournament.
Yeah. Oh, and he throws it. I liked that because he makes a point because they're like, oh, none of us, because like they're like Martin Mull wins every year, and he's like, okay, why? And
He
they're
can't
like,
be
'cause
that
he's
good.
he's the boss and he has to win. And Michael Keaton's like, he's not my boss, and they're like, he's your wife's boss. So Michael Keaton very intentionally beats him. Like he gets to the end of the race, and then right before he's about to win, he throws it because he knows. He just wanted to prove to his wife that he could do it, and then he throws it. And no one else knows that he's thrown it except for her.
Somehow.
Yeah, well, But I
it
think
suddenly
that's,
collapses
well,
2
he just,
inches
like,
from the
trips.
finish line.
He like trips or whatever. But like, yeah, I was like, that's really cool though because it's like very intentional that he only needed his wife to see that. Like he was only doing that for his wife. Like it wasn't a thing where he didn't even give a shit about Martin Mull. Like at that point.
Well, at that point.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like he was just like whatever.
It seems like he changes his mind about why he's doing it, and
he's just like, which I feel like that's a really sweet moment. And I thought it was, you know, and I don't know that I ever really caught onto that part, like understood like what that was saying until, like, oh, he just, oh, he got cold feet.
It's a good episode of Bob's Burgers.
That's true. Yeah. No, but I think for being fucking 40 years old, this movie holds up.
Absolutely.
And
surprisingly.
Yeah. And I said, I was actually kind of fucking worried going in that I was like, oh God, I misremembered this being good. And
wait, did I mention who directed? Oh, I did. Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Dan Dragoni. Sorry. Got scared.
Did I listen?
I forget. I also, having watched all these movies over the last year, I've come to accept that John Hughes writes some slapsticky ass movies.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, but
this one wasn't that bad. Like some of them don't.
Honestly, I feel
like some of the scenes in fucking Uncle Buck and shit.
Oh my God, what the fuck?
But this one has a whole bit with the washing machine.
Oh my God. Like, I feel like John Hughes stuff is honestly like very like contingent upon like who's in it.
Yeah.
Like if like
and
whether
who's directing.
Whether or not, well, of course, but like whether or not it's good, it's like I feel like a lot of the John Candy and John Hughes stuff, I'm like, it felt like, and I'm not saying it's bad. I feel like it's one of those things where like, it's like never get like, if you've never had any sort of like critical feedback in your life is what it feels like. You know, because it's like two people that know each other really well working together and someone just being like, okay, I'm going to write something for you that I know you'll be able to deliver. Not challenging them.
Uncle Buck feels unfinished to me. It feels like a daily.
It is,
it's like a rough cut or something.
So weird. It's weird, and it's like, I mean, it was okay. Yeah. But it just felt like a TV episode.
Yeah, it's kind of just a series of bits. Yeah. Almost.
But that's what it, like a lot of his stuff with John Candy just feels like that. It just feels like he was like, well, I don't really have to try because
Great Outdoors.
Candy knows me. So I don't have to
it's weird.
really stress. Yeah. And like a lot of the, I mean, like I haven't seen every single fucking John Hughes movies.
You may have.
Ever.
You may have.
Possible.
I feel like we might have both at this point.
Is it 16 Candles? Is that John Hughes?
I think so.
Okay. Did you do Breakfast Club too?
Yeah.
Okay.
He definitely did Breakfast Club.
Yeah. Okay, maybe I have.
He did all those teen movies.
Not all of them, or maybe all of them.
That's why.
God, didn't he do like She's Having a Baby?
Yes.
Oh my God.
At the same time as Uncle Buck, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was Uncle Buck. Because he didn't direct Uncle Buck, or was it The Great Outdoors? He didn't direct one of them.
He didn't direct Home Alone.
Oh, okay, because he was doing.
But he wrote it.
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't remember. There's so many. This is the thing.
It's true.
Basically any movie with John Candy where he's trains, planes, and automobiles.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the one where? Oh, it's Home Alone,
Yeah.
where he plays.
Yeah, yeah.
He's in the polka band.
polka, polka, polka. Oh my god. But all I'm trying to say is like this didn't feel like a John Hughes movie. Not in that way. Like it didn't feel like because I feel like,
Yeah, it was tight.
yeah. Well, it was tight, but also it's like I feel like John Hughes does that. Like this didn't feel like there was a scene chopped into it that was like specifically to make fun of Asian people or something, which I feel like happened or like something.
There is a poker game though.
There, I mean, yeah, yeah.
It doesn't make fun of Asian people. I'm just saying that's a thing he'll throw in.
But yeah, but there also wasn't something that was specifically in there to like make fun of. I mean, maybe the scene where he's buying pads is the most John Hughes scene that there was. But yeah, it didn't feel like it was like John Hughes just has like a very specific like I have to make fun of a demographic in every one of his movies.
Really?
It feels I feel like especially the ones we've watched. I think Home Alone maybe doesn't necessarily have that, but even so, like the the old guy, how they're like he's a murderer and he chopped up his whole family, and then he's just like, no, I'm just a sad old man, It kind of, I mean, like that's the closest that Home Alone gets to like making fun of it, like as a demographic. I think just mainly because it's about a little kid. So, but yeah, like I feel like John Hughes does that thing where he's just like really, I don't know. I can't think of anything from Uncle Buck, but I'm sure there was like the weird like back and forth between him and the eldest daughter in Uncle Buck.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is this? This is like
And then Laurie
not
Metcalf.
okay. Yeah, that was some weird shit too. You're like, okay. I mean, like Laurie Metcalf is amazing, but like, yeah. But yeah, John Hughes just has like this weird like
Yeah.
like it felt like with Uncle Buck, I felt like I'm like, you don't like teenage girls, do you? You think they're assholes. Like this felt like it was specifically like teenage girls think they know everything,
Well,
or maybe just teenagers.
I mean, all those teen movies.
Yeah, I'm just like, ooh, Anyway, whatever.
John
I'm
Hughes.
just shitting on John Hughes at this point, but that's fine. Mr. Mom's great for being a John Hughes film, especially. That's my takeaway.
And shockingly, not set in Chicagoland.
Mm-hmm. Is it not? Where is it set though?
Detroit.
Oh wow, I didn't.
Motor City.
Oh, is that what that is?
Motown.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. I don't know.
It's also
things.
Rock City.
Oh my God, you're right. It is. You're right.
Never been.
Me neither.
It's on my list since
Yeah.
living in the living in the Midwest. Excuse me. Where am I? Hello? Detroit and New Orleans.
Yeah, I want to go to New Orleans, but not in the touristy white people way.
It's going to be awful regardless,
Well,
I feel like.
but I don't know why. I want to go to Des Moines. I don't know why.
Oh, yeah. Well, because you planned a getaway that never
I-
was. You planned a honeymoon that
Ugh.
got canceled.
Yeesh. Yeah. That was a nice.
I'm curious about Iowa. Nobody talks about
exactly.
Iowa.
Right. Yeah.
It's
yeah,
right
yeah.
next door.
I've never been. I want
I guess I don't hear that much about Indiana, but comparatively more.
Yeah. I feel like I hear about
I remember when I was working at Benny's, someone came in with a shirt. I'm not going to be able to remember it. It was some pun about like, yeah. I can't even remember enough of it to be funny. Yeah.
Hilarious. But before we go, please tell the story of Jason from when you worked at Benny's, when they were.
So there was a fellow by the name of Michael Myers who worked in the wine section. And on a particular, I don't know, it was at closing time on like a Friday or Saturday or something. And somebody paged him. It was like Michael Myers to the... And people, he would get paged that way on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
He went by Mike.
Yeah.
But anyway. And I was up front, like, ringing or just cleaning or whatever. And somebody in line was like, oh, shit, Michael Myers. You know who that is. That's Jason.
That's like the best fucking. Oh God, that's an amazing. Oh, I feel like.
And then everybody cracked up. Everybody was like,
Yeah.
"Oh fuck, we gotta get out of here." Not laughing at the person who said, not because they said Michael Myers. That's Jason. They were just all in agreement.
But that's like okay. That's good because for two reasons. One, because that's honestly something I would probably do. I'd probably be in that line. I'd be like, "You're right, it is," which is why it's so funny.
Michael
to me
Myers.
because-
That's Freddy Krueger.
Michael Myers. That's the girl from The Ring.
There can be only one ring to rule them all.
Rule them all. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I knew what you were going for.
Oy. Oy.
Oh, comedy. That's not what you'll find on this podcast. Yeah, I think I'm good. I feel like I didn't really on the last few. I just want to apologize to everyone because I feel like the last few podcasts I haven't talked about everyone's fuckability like I promised. So I feel like I've let you down.
Oh, do you want to do a quick run through?
Michael Keaton as always can get it.
Yes.
That's really all I had to say.
Just
Just Michael Keaton.
'80s Jeff Bridges?
No, I'm not into 80s Jeff.
Glenn Close.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those where I'm like, I wouldn't say no. You know.
This sounds shitty, but it's about beauty standards in Hollywood, not my personal standards or what I believe should be the standard.
No, I know what you mean.
It's very surprising to me that Glenn Close
Oh yeah.
got the role she
Right,
did.
but that's what's exciting about it, right? That's what
Is
like
it?
because I mean for me like when you're like yeah like
I don't
It's
think she's unattractive.
no
I don't
not
think
at all.
she's
But I
unattractive
don't think
by.
she's conventionally attractive in the sense of like especially not beauty standards today because like
No, she
fuck
would never
today's
get
beauty-
cast.
Ugh, I fucking hate how gross shit has gotten
Yeah, it's
like
gotten
these days.
so
but
worse and narrow.
that's what I love. Like she was a fucking sex symbol. Like she was like people were like holy shit, Glenn Close is
I guess.
hot. But like if you look like you know she's not like and again like I'm not like critiquing like her looks like I'm not
Right.
like oh she's fucking ugly. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying by Hollywood standards you wouldn't necessarily expect to see someone like her.
Correct.
And the fact that you do is really exciting to me. Like
Uh-huh.
I love that shit. Like I want to see people that have
Yeah.
like an interesting.
I'm like
weird,
rooting for her when I
Oh,
watch her.
exactly
But
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I'm it, like
except that
it's
her characters so
are
far
horrible.
are horrible.
Not
And she-
making great decisions. But yeah.
I mean, we've
yeah.
only seen.
Also Teri Garr, man, she was so gorgeous. I thought she was so fucking gorgeous.
Oh hell yeah!
God, she's so beautiful.
I really just appreciated the scenes where.
Like I love her in Tootsie. Like she just fucking loses it. Like when she's like talking to
Oh yeah.
what's his name?
Dustin Hoffman.
Yes, thank you.
Tootsie Hoffman?
I was gonna say Douglas
Fairbanks.
just Douglas Keaton or something like that, which isn't nobody. So yeah, like
Dustin Douglas. Dustin Diamond Douglas.
when she's like thinks he's you know like they hook up or what I don't know. There's this whole scene where she's like accusing Dustin Hoffman of like not wanting to be with her or whatever, and she's just like, I'm in charge of my own orgasm. I know, you know, and she's just like just going the fuck off on him, and it's like this beautiful scene where she's just losing her shit, and he's just like calmly like, oh no, you're great. No, it's not about you. You know, I don't know. But she's just like, I don't know. It just feels like
Yeah.
she's like giving it her all, and he's kind of not. Like, I mean, in the scene, like he's
Right.
just like, okay, whatever. But she's just like, I don't know. I don't know. And I also like. And in Tootsie, like she's going in for an audition and they're saying that she needs to be like have like a rough attitude. And so she's like, you have to go with me. She's like, you're the only person, you're going to piss me off before
Oh yeah, that's right.
the audition. I'm not going to be able to get to that level if you're not with me. And he's like, okay, fine. So he goes with her and he starts to help her take her jacket off, but he's like doing it really badly. So her arm's stuck and she's like so fucking pissed at him. And he's like, okay. And he's just like fucking with her, trying to like get her jacket off. And she's like, stop it. And she's like so mad at him. And she's like, ooh. And And she's like, okay, I'll see you in a minute. And he's like, fuck you. And she's like, oh God, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Because she was so fucking enraged, you know? And it's like I'm like sad that I feel like Teri Garr really, like, she was like in stuff and then like dropped off. And that's the shit where I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's where I hate, that's where I hate Hollywood. That and all of the other shit that Hollywood does. But yeah.
That's it, though.
Yeah. Anyway.
For hating Hollywood.
Teri
No,
Garr's
I was
great.
appreciating in Mr. Mom just the scenes where she's basically just reacting to Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
And not saying anything, but her.
Yeah. No, she's great. She's great.
All presence.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's what it is. Like, she just has like this like gift for like just, and like
skill.
She does. She doesn't have to, like, and I feel like Michael Keaton does this too. Like, they don't necessarily have to say something to make you like get where they're going with something. And so like their pairing in this, I think, was really good. I think good. Like, yeah.
She definitely seems to me like the seasoned actor
compared to yes,
Michael Keaton.
100%.
Not
especially in this. Especially
she just
in
seems
Mr.
so
Mom.
like at ease on camera.
Oh God, I know. Yeah.
I mean.
No, but that's how it seems. You know,
yeah.
That's what it. You know, and she's just like, you know, she does like. She's so physical in how she responds to things too, and like that's
it's embodied.
Yeah, but like for like a woman, you know, to make it not, to not just try to like, she's very aware of her body and what it's doing and how it's affecting the scene is what it feels like, which is exciting to watch. I don't know, she's great. I like her a lot.
Teri Garr.
Yeah,
All
Teri Garr.
pro.
Yeah, she's great. And that's my personal. That's my unprofessional opinion. So that's all I have to say about that. I feel like I talked a long time about Teri Garr, which is good. She deserves to be talked. She deserves to be talked about.
Amen. Checking my notes. I don't think I have anything else. Oh, I listed all the. There's all these references to other movies.
Oh right, yeah.
And music from other movies.
Yeah.
And they actually just used the music. Like there's a Rocky reference that you mentioned earlier.
Yep.
They use the Rocky training montage music, famous music
when
later
he's like
on.
shaving his beard.
And the music from Jaws, of course. Of course. Oh god. Chariots of Fire during the fucking track and field. And the theme from The Young and the Restless, because
right, yeah, because that's
coming.
all he watches. Oh my god, which I love that because he's like, this is so stupid. How could anybody get into it? And then he's like obsessed with it, but like the other wives are like calling him and they're like having chats.
He's like, no, there's no way it's his.
Yeah. Oh god, I love it.
It's done really well.
And the kids like, I thought it was so and so's kid. Oh god, everyone just being so involved in this soap opera. I'm like, this is so fucking accurate. It's accurate because if you've ever watched a soap opera, you hate it so much. You're like, this is so fucking stupid, and you hate it up until you realize that you're like having arguments about like the people that are in it. And you're like, oh my god, what in the fuck? Like I didn't, I never got into soap operas, but I would watch them and enjoy it, and I'm like, but I don't care. Like it's such a confusing thing. Where, like you're like, I could stop at any time. I just don't want to. Anyway, I don't watch them as an adult though. That was mostly a youthful thing.
Well, it's different in the era of streaming television versus.
It's true, yeah.
Broadcast.
I can just binge anything.
There's not much else on in the daytime.
Yeah, when you're.
Or there wasn't, I should say.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
I'll say this. Speaking of John Hughes, he does the thing. I mean, later on in his family comedies, The Home Alone and Uncle Buck and stuff, he loves having the kids say adult things.
Oh yeah. And I'm such a sucker for that.
I know when he pulls it up, when he does it well, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of those in this.
Which, and I feel like I said, like the kids do.
The kids are great.
They do really well. Like I feel like the casting in this was something that was done well. This
is 2 years away from Christopher Lloyd being Doc Brown.
Right? Yeah. And I mean, he's
barely in it.
He's in it for like 5 minutes at most, at the most throughout the movie. He's in it for 5 minutes, but yeah.
Having dark hair and stuff.
I know, with like that
Hair.
weight,
I
like
know.
it's so weight. Oh my god. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I think I'm
Yeah. Okay.
tapped out, man. I can't talk about Mr. Mom anymore. I'm
Challenge.
gonna lose my voice.
Bet.
Other than Michael Keaton would do, Teri Garr can't get it. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Michael Keaton.
And Jillian.
Michael
I'm
Keaton,
sorry, I thought you were dead.
Michael Keaton, you know where to find me.
Does he?
I hope.
As you pointed out, he's just an old
doesn't
person on social media.
Don't remind me. Yeah.
Don't let Grandpa have Twitter.
Anyway.
Hashtag don't let Grandpa have Twitter. Until next time.
He's beating up the Joker, the Riddler, and the others. But now his greatest foes are the folks at Warner Brothers.
Will their big budget blockbuster be a bat bomb? Will Bat fans care that Batman is also Mr. Mom? Tune in tomorrow to learn the rest.
'Cause I'll be watching Batman starring Adam West.